So in this video, we're gonna be touching on Chris Jones and how this is absolutely getting out of hand. Now, it's reports coming out that Chris Jones is seeking 30 million per year, which is honestly surprising because a guy like Chris Jones, we didn't expect him to become. I'm not gonna say he's money hungry, but we never expected him to ask for this huge of a contract, right? And honestly, he's coming off a season where he had 15.5 sacks, and I get his presence is always like felt on the field because even when he's not putting up numbers on the stat sheet, he's still bringing dominance to the defensive line, and he's still making big plays. So I understand it. I get it. I get why he would want 30 mil because he's so valuable to the team. Now the tricky question is, are we gonna really pay Chris Jones 30 mil? We know I get the Tyreek Hill situation is different, but we remember the Tyreek Hill situation just a year ago where he wanted almost 30 mil and we let him go. We got some picks and we retooled our whole team and still won the Super Bowl. Now, is this the same as defensive tackle that's in his prime, that's very dominant, putting up 15.5 sacks? I don't know, but based off how Brett Veach is, I just honestly can't see him paying Chris Jones 30 million. When you look at it, 30 million a year is a lot of money, especially when you have other players to pay. And I know Chris Jones is going to want a 5 year deal, and that's going to really break. That's going to reset the market. That's a lot of money. I know Aaron Donald's getting 31 mil a year, but that's for 3 years. Plus, we're not the Rams. We're definitely not the Rams. So I don't think that we're going to end up paying Chris Jones 30 million. I feel like this is going to be similar to a Tyreek situation where Brett Veach is going to end up. I mean, it's kind of too late for a trade, really, if you think about it, though. But hey, it could still happen. So I feel like Brad Veach is gonna end up telling Chris, "Look, man, you got to take this 26 with incentives, bro." But I think too much guarantee money isn't gonna happen. But I could say maybe 27, 28 with some, I don't know, with some up to 30 million. That's a good contract, but I don't like the idea of a bunch of fully guaranteed money. I don't think that it should be like that. I do think that if we do give him a $30 million contract, it should be incentive based. And don't get me wrong, like Chris Jones is obviously the best defensive tackle in the game right now. And you want to keep that big three of the best quarterback, the best tight end, and the best DT. You want to keep that core, but it's going to be hard to pay other players when you're giving Chris Jones a 30 year, 5 mil, 30 mil, 5 year contract. And you're giving Mahomes a big contract already that he could get more if he wanted to. And Travis Kelce is also getting a solid contract, which he could get more if he wanted to as well. So when you're giving Chris Jones this much money, it's going to be hard to bring back Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, who we probably going to let walk anyway, Trey Smith, and Nick Bolton. Now, two players you don't want to let go of right now is Creed Humphrey and Nick Bolton, especially Creed Humphrey. He's a generational center, and a lot of people saying defensive tackle is more important than offensive line. You can't do that because we want Patrick Mahomes to stay protected, and we want him to be healthy for as long as he can in his career. So like I said, this whole Chris Jones situation is honestly out of hand, and we just got to be patient and see what happens. But I do want to hear y'all opinion in the comments on if should we just let him walk, which I don't really want to do. I'll be hurt. When we lost Tyreek, I was kind of like a little hurt, but like I was more of a I didn't care, is Tyreek a snake. But if we lose Chris Jones, I'm gonna be hurt. I'm not gonna call him a sneak or none of that. I'm just gonna honestly be very hurt. But it's like at the same time we can't pay him 30 mil. I don't think we're in the situation to even pay him that much money. But I guess we just gotta see what happens with Tom. And I do want to hear y'all opinion on this. Should we just give Chris Jones the 30 mil since he's a generational D tackle and he's the best D tackle in the business? Or do we let him walk and try to get some more picks, maybe some players? I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know what team would give up that much for Chris Jones right now. But it got to be a team out there somewhere that'll do it. And in my opinion, like the worst thing about this situation is the fact that they're not even close to a deal. That's the crazy part. They're literally disagreeing on both sides. It's bad. The disagreement is really horrible. They're disagreeing badly. And Chris Jones, he was the league's best interior pass rusher last season. And this is his first time holding out in 8 years. 8 years. And that's the longest he's even been in the NFL. So it's his first time ever holding out his career, and Andy Reid even said he was surprised. He elected not to report to camp on time, and that's a decision that would require a mandatory $50,000 fine each day he's away from the team. So I don't know what Chris Jones is doing. I don't know what's going on. This is final year of his 4 year, $80 million contract, and he played insanely good last year. So I guess he wants more because Aaron Donald, he signed a 3 year, $95 million contract restructure last summer. Then earlier this month, defensive tackle Quentin Williams signed a 4 year, $96 million contract extension with 66 mil guaranteed, and he's the second highest player at this position. And Jones is seeking an extension that would pay him an average annual salary of 30 million. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. And the Chiefs are becoming a dynasty. They don't have a single player that's the highest paid at their position, so I don't know what they're trying to do, man. I don't know what they're trying to do. Mahomes' contract could even be better. He Mahomes accounts took pay cuts to give Brett Veach more flexibility, and Chris Jones don't want to do that, I guess, because another thing you do have to take into consideration is that Mahomes and Kels have very good personalities that could set them up to where they're going to be able to make money just off their voice and off their personality and outside of the NFL. Chris Jones really doesn't have that. So I guess Chris Jones is on something. I got 2 rings. It's time for me to make this paper. But if that means him making it on another team, then that's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad. But it's whatever. At the end of the day, he is the team's best defensive player, so you're not gonna want to lose him. He's an elite pass rusher, listed at 6'6", 310 pounds. He creates some very crazy advantages and mismatches against interior offensive linemen, and he literally could end the drive with sacks against these opposing quarterbacks. So I really don't think that that's somebody you're gonna lose. Like last season, he had 15 sacks, 15 and a half sacks, 29 quarterback hits, played 80% of the unit's total snaps. So it's like I don't know, man. And how Tyreek Hill felt. Chris Jones understands that this is likely his best opportunity to maximize his earnings, and that's what he's going for after having a career year. And he led the league with 34 fourth quarter pressure, so his presence is known. He's on the field, and I don't know. It's just gonna be scary. And he said he wants to play his entire career with the Chiefs, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's why I'm saying it's gonna be scary to find out what happens because I don't know what we about to do, man. I don't know what we about to do. I pray to God that we don't lose Chris Jones and that they could somehow come to an agreement. But at this point, it's looking very bad.